financial decisions you make today are going to impact your retirement here in the future. And the question is, how much money do you need to retire with to live the lifestyle that you want? Now, Chris, I know you spend so many hours working with students who are retired, semi-retired, or approaching retirement, and you help them put together a plan to get them on track to retire. I mean, why don't you explain to listeners out there, how much you really should have before you even think about retirement?
Well, I mean, here's the tough part, folks. I mean, this is where everybody's now going to start to gauge themselves and where they are in comparison with what the quote-unquote experts say. But the experts are right. And in this regard, at age 65, you need somewhere between $2 and $4 million, depending upon your lifestyle, if in fact you're going to live to be in your 90s. Now, fortunately for you, as a listener, when you come in here, you're going to learn how to make money in all market conditions in those retirement accounts. When the market's up, make money. Markets go down twice as fast as they go up. Make money twice as fast in that case. Learn how to make money in a flat or a sideways market using some very simple option strategies so you don't ever get left out. Markets go down about 45% of the time. If you don't know how to make money in a down market, you're missing out on about 45% of the chances to make money. If you really feel like the fact that you have, $4,500 a month coming in from Social Security and your pension, and your house is paid for, and your car's paid for, and you have a couple $100,000 in your retirement account, and you're 64 years old getting set to, or you're 65 years old just freshly retired, I'd be more worried about you than you are, it sounds like. I just had a gentleman in my office, 76 years old, that exact same scenario. Everything's paid for. He doesn't even have, $100,000, in retirement, but he's got a decent sized little pension. He's got Social Security. So does his wife. And a person like that, they get very indignant when it's pointed out to them that they should be nervous that if they live to be in their 90s or they end up in a nursing home, that, they're going to run out of money. And, we're not meant to upset anybody, but certainly we want to open people's eyes. Do something about it. It's so easy to get caught back up, even at a late date or a late age, Blake.
Right, and some people out there are expecting pensions. They're not guaranteed. I mean, if you want to learn how to generate 1 to 2% a month consistently in your retirement accounts, whether the markets are going up, down, or sideways, pick up the phone. This is probably our most popular class. The phones blow up when we give away this. This is for a half-day class on wealth management. I have 30 passes, all right? If you never called in, this is your opportunity to learn how to get your money to work for you so you can stop working for your money. It's valued at $1,000. You'll receive 2 passes for both you and a guest. Give us a call right now. It's free for you. 954-668-2510. 954-668-2510. You can also text to register. We have classes coming up here on the weekend, during the week. You could text the letters OTA to the number 41411 to reserve your seat right now. Once again, text the letters OTA to the number 41411 to reserve your seat today.
The Trader's Edge Radio Show has been brought to you by Online Trading Academy in South Florida. Online Trading Academy teaches how to trade stocks, options, futures, and Forex, and how money is made in up markets, sideways markets, and down markets, all with limited risk. Learn using our money, not yours, in real classrooms with certified instructors who currently trade and are profitable. Learn the right way to trade and invest. Attend a free class to see how it works at Online Trading Academy in South Florida. Half-day classes meet in Broward and now our new location in Palm Beach. They're free. Call now, 561-674-9800. That's 561-674-9800. 561-674-9800.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
It's the question that makes kids and parents crazy, but the answer is a crucial part of your child's education. Have you done your homework today? I'm Andy Ford, president of the Florida Education Association. After a long day of school, it can be a challenge to motivate your child to complete homework. but homework is an essential part of learning. Here are a few ways you can help your child be successful. Set aside a place in your home where your child is comfortable doing homework. Pick a specific time to begin homework every day and stick to it. Make sure the TV is turned off so your child can concentrate on the work at hand. Review your child's homework and have consequences when it isn't done. Working together, parents and teachers can make this a successful school year for every student in Florida.
A message from the Florida Education Association. Great public schools are a basic right for every student.
Did you know that there are greater than 1,500 kids in Palm Beach County alleged to be victims of abuse, neglect, or abandonment?
Fewer than 80% of those children are afforded a guardian ad litem.
That leaves these children with no voice in the court system.
Guardians ad litem represent the best interest of children involved in abuse cases.
We are information gatherers, advocates, and monitors who visit the child, review relevant records, interview persons involved in the child's life, and submit best interest recommendations to the court.
Without a guardian, these children are more likely to languish in foster care.
It is time for you to speak up for our county's most vulnerable. Call 561-355-6224 or visit www.galpbc.org for more information. You can make a difference in a child's life.
Talk 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Talk 1470 WNN is now available on iHeartRadio. Download it now for free on your app store and take WNN with you wherever you go with iHeartRadio.
Staying healthy is difficult. What nutritional supplements should you take? What foods are best for you? What health practitioner should you see? You've got health questions, I've got health answers. From heartburn to hemorrhoids, pain to pimples, carpal tunnel to the common cold, gluten to gallbladder, and gingivitis, and all points in between. I'm Dr. Bob Martin. Tune into my Sunday talk show at 10 o'clock on Talk 1470 WNN.
Tired of low returns on mutual funds or 401ks? If you wanted to retire today, would those mutual funds or 401ks be enough? If not, learn how to build a better retirement at Online Trading Academy in South Florida, the brick and mortar school where people learn in a classroom setting how to have a better retirement by investing in trading stocks, options, futures, and forex, and how money is made in up, sideways, and down markets while limiting risk. Learn with our money, not yours. You're taught one-on-one by experienced pros who currently trade, are certified, and profitable. They show you what they do every day. Call now to register for a free half-day class on how to invest and make trades for a better retirement. Call Online Trading Academy in South Florida. Free half-day classes in Broward and now in Palm Beach. Call 561-674-9800. That's 561-674-9800. 561-674-9800.
This is Talk 1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Ask the Experts show with local celebrity hosts Steve O and Rene. Sit back each week while Steve O and Rene educate you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve O and Rene with today's expert in their field.
Hey, good afternoon. It is Steve O without Rene. You know, we have another show every morning, 3 hours a day. It's not as easy as it looks. But anyhow, we have two friends here in the studio that I haven't seen you guys since November.
Yeah, it's been a while. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New
And
Year.
this is our new hour. We have been trying to get this hour for the last year and a half because 4 to 5 is kind of drive time, but 5 to 6 really is drive time.
Hello, everyone in your car.
Yeah. So this is our HOA Community Association show. And, man, I hope we get, because we were getting a lot of calls there on our Monday show. Got to think. Anyhow, we told a lot of people this week through social media that we've moved our show. Actually, we've been doing it for the last 3 weeks. So if you'd like to call today, you can call us at 888-575-1470. That's 565-1470. Too many phone numbers. This is actually the easiest number for all of our shows we have. So one more time, it's 888-565-1470. Wonder how they got 1470. So tell me how you guys are doing.
We're well.
What has been going on at K. Bender and Rinbaum?
Business as usual. We've been working very hard throughout the November, December. It was definitely not a slowdown at holiday time.
So your business doesn't slow down during over the holidays.
People as community association leaders and owners are in and out of town during the holidays. It usually tends to have a little bit of a slowdown, but this year, hey, it didn't seem to slow down near as much as it had in the past, which is good news. Good news, bad news.
Yes,
because everyone is in holiday mode, so to speak.
Let me introduce you first. So we've got Robert K. These are the senior partners of K. Bender Rinbaum, and we have Michael Bender. You guys have been with us for like a year and a half now.
It's been
seems like just yesterday.
Yeah, right. So you guys always have your coat and tie on, but anyhow,
we're on camera here. Hey.
Anyway, listen, if you'd like to watch today's show, we are live right now. You can go to www.kbrlegal.com, which is a great website, isn't it?
Oh, wonderful.
Outstanding.
And right there, you can watch the show live today. We've got so much stuff to cover. I guess you've got a lot of things coming up for the beginning of the year.
Well, not only can you watch it live, but you can get a lot of good information as well.
Absolutely. And by the way, you know what? I hardly ever say this. You can actually listen to us on iHeartRadio or TuneIn. So if you're going to the mall or something, if you're out in the ocean, you can listen to our show at any time.
And it's not to be missed, so you should be. Let me just follow up, though, to your opening question about what is going on, what's new. As I said, it's been a lot of business as usual, and we are excited about continuing to assist our clients and introducing ourselves to new community associations who are in need of good, experienced community association counsel. And we also are excited to introduce, we've brought on a new attorney to the firm who is of counsel, Lisa McGill, who those who work or in the community association industry are familiar with her. She formerly was with Becker and Polyakoff, a large community association law firm in the state, and she comes to us with a lot of experience in community association law. She's a great educator. She writes a blog and does publishes articles, and we were very excited to bring her onto the team. And she started with us just last week. So
come on, you can tell me what it cost you. Come on, tell me. No one's listening right now.
She's paying us.
She's paying you. So
they jumped at the chance.
I want you to tell everybody about the firm.
Okay. Well, K. Bender Rinbaum has been providing continuous legal services to community associations throughout South Florida and beyond since 1992.
Still over 800?
Still over 800 and continuing to grow. We provide all facets of community association representation. We're a general commercial firm with our concentration being in community association work. We handle everything from review of documents, contract negotiation, covenant enforcement, collection of delinquent assessments, general litigation as it involves contracts or defective construction or across the board of what associations will face on a day-to-day basis. We do analysis of their documents. We provide opinions on issues that they face.
Amend and update.
Amend and update, yes.
I've
That's an
actually got a
important
cute
thing these
story
days.
about.
Yes, amending and updating documents is an important one these days.
Well, a friend of mine is now the president. Now it's not here. He's in Dallas. 20-story condominium. He just got voted in as the president of the association. He's also an attorney. He said, there is so much work to do. I thought I could do a lot of it myself. He said, I had to hire a law firm. I could not. He's a lawyer.
Well, just because you're a lawyer doesn't mean you know this area.
And he said it's a lot of work.
It's a
and
specialized area. You know, whether you're in Dallas or whether you're here in South Florida. Certainly, well, I will say also in Florida, laws in Florida with regard to community associations are different than anywhere else in the country, as we understand it. So,
And Florida does lead the country when it comes to development of these laws as well.
He was surprised how much work there was. That was the first thing he said.
Well, he may be
And the
making
phone
more work
calls
than he
he
needs
gets
to.
in the middle of the night.
Well, that's as president.
That's as the president. You know,
Yeah. So, but he's a lawyer, and he said, you know what? I was going to try to save money and try to do things myself. Forget about it. He said it's a lot of work. You've got to have people who know what they're doing.
The best thing a president can be is a delegator.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But he thought he was going to sit and look like, he saved the association a lot of money. And actually, he said probably could have cost him more money because
I'm sure.
And there's laws changing, I'm sure, all the time. And this is your
every
business.
year.
Well, statutes change, but also court decisions come out certainly throughout the year that have effect on associations. And recent trends seem to be not in the most favorable to associations, but you can't really control how the courts are going to rule.
You can simply educate your clients and provide them as much, information with regard to legal guidance so that as board members, along with management, if they have management, they can make informed business decisions. That's the role of the board. That's their obligation.
Speaking of education, wow, do you guys do a lot of educating?
We do.
And it seems like it's just about every month you have something going on.
Actually, every month.
Yes. So what's coming up?
Oh, there's so many things coming up. Well, you're right. We have, hopefully people understand K. Bender Rembaum is synonymous with free education, as we have been offering free education for years. And one of the avenues in which we offer this education, which comes around every December and goes usually through the end of March, if not early April, is our town hall seminars. Basically, it's a program where everything you need to know about in order to run your community association effectively. And we've been doing those now for 8 years. And Robert and I actually lead a 2.5 hour program where we hit upon topics that are obviously very germane to all communities, whether you're an HOA, a condominium, or even a cooperative. And they're the hot topics of the day, as well as the topics that you, as the personal attendee, want to discuss. No two of these programs is exactly the same, because those who decide to attend are able to basically help us set the agenda. And no one
We've been there before. So
I know. And no one leaves without having their questions answered.
That's plural.
And it
even
really
if it was singular when they came, they seemed like they would just.
They have more and more, but we enjoy it. It is really, it is a little bit fun for us. I'd say fun is. I'll say fun. I think we have a good time getting out there, and as opposed to having a set agenda item, like we're gonna like I'll talk in a second. Like, it's not just on fair housing. It's not just on covenant enforcement. It's not just on collection foreclosure.
Or even legislative changes.
It's not even on legislative. It's not just on legislative changes. However, it is on all of those topics and much more, depending on who's in attendance and what questions they ask. And we're excited about that. Now, the next town hall forum, and we call them town hall forums, is going to be Thursday, January 21st. And that's a morning program. It's at 10 a.m. It's in Sunrise at the Nob Hill Clubhouse on Sunset Strip. That's on Thursday, January 21st at 10 a.m. And then the following Tuesday, January 26th at 6:30 p.m., we're going to be at the Hallandale Cultural Center in Hallandale. So we try to make it throughout the Tri-County area, some in the morning, some in the evening, so that people can attend. And we have several people who do attend multiple, we welcome them. It is great for all. We believe it's a must attend for community association board members, licensed community association managers, and those owners who are interested perhaps in getting on the board and getting good just getting well educated. and we're excited about it. All of this information, of course, as you mentioned, is on our website at kbrlegal.com. Click on seminars, or they can call the office at 800 974 0680. And that you can reach, because as you know, we have the office in Pompano Beach as well as Palm Beach County. That 800 number, you can reach either office.
Before we go to our first phone call, I want to tell you how great these are. There was probably about, the one we were at was 2 hours, probably about 40, 45 people there. No one got up and left. They stayed the whole time. So
some stay after it's over, so they get personal questions in.
Correct.
Oh, that's right. You had a lot. Let's go to our first call. We've got Sheila. Hi, Sheila.
Hello.
Hi, Sheila.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, better.
Better. Say hello
I was trying to get on your website for the show, but it's not working for me.
Okay.
So, I'm president of association, and unfortunately, we don't have a grievance committee. And my question is, how do we deal with owners that refuse to apply for permits in order to do work in their unit, refuse to follow the association protocol regarding work in their units, renovations, repairs, that kind of stuff?
Hi, Sheila. You're in a condominium, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, you don't have to have a quote-unquote grievance committee in order to deal with issues of this type. The board on its own has the ability to enforce violations of the documents and the rules of the community, and you may send them written notice of their violations and give them a certain amount of time, and if they don't resolve it to your satisfaction, you may need to bring in legal counsel for the association, and if they don't respond to your legal counsel in the way you need, then you may need to go to an enforcement either in court or through arbitration, depending on what the issue is.
Okay. I'm well aware of all those options.
Okay. Well, there's unfortunately no shortcut.
The problem is that when somebody is already in the throes of doing a renovation, we have what's called a time constraint. And sending a notice by mail, getting legal counsel involved, by that time, their contractor could be in and out of the situation, out of the building. And code enforcement calling them, they only come by in the mornings, and these people are having the work done at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, it's just like all the rules in the world don't help when the reality doesn't work with the rules. So I was looking for something more than what I already know.
Do you have a secure building?
We're in an association. We secure building.
Meaning, if I was to come to your building, do I have to get buzzed in, or is there a security guard, or you can just walk in and out?
No, you have to go through the security gate. But the building is open.
Okay. Oh, and security. So, in other words, as an owner, I could give my contractor the gate pass.
Well, it's a guarded gate. Yeah, but you can give him a contractor's pass. Yes.
Okay. Well, one thing I was to consider is if there, and again, it is enforcement. You're right. It's the ability to enforce some of these things. If there's a way, if you're aware of a violation, you put the owner on notice that your contractor is not going to be permitted to access the property until you come into compliance. If that's possible for you to keep the contractor out and put your owner on the defensive, as opposed to the association kind of, like you said, being stuck with this. If you can preclude the contractor from accessing the property until they've corrected the permit issues and any other violations that you say exist, perhaps that's one way to.
But you have to know who the contractor is to do that.
Well, you know who they're visiting.
Yeah, but people come in. This is a Monterey type construction. People come in, work in the unit. The owner gives them a key. They work in the unit. They're there an hour and a half.
So restricting access is not an easy thing to do. Is that correct?
Pardon me?
Restricting their access is something that's not easy for you to accomplish, is what you're saying.
No, that's right. Nothing here is easy to accomplish.
How many units are there?
80 units in this building. There are over 8,000 units in the whole community.
Is each
But
building
not
a separate?
all associations, most of the associations don't care what's going on in the other people's units.
Right. Each building is a separate condominium. Is that how you're structured?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have the ability to get owners to vote on changes to your documents? Do you get that kind of participation?
Well, I don't know that. They would depend upon the board to tell them what we were changing, I guess, and they would decide whether they wanted to vote for that or not.
Okay. Well, one of the things that a number of our client associations have done in the past is adopt an amendment that allows for you to pass certain enforcement costs on directly to the unit. And when you bring the attorney into the situation and they write a letter, you're incurring costs on behalf of the association. To shift these costs to the individual unit often has a good effect beyond recovering the money, but also will become an incentive for owners to be less inclined to not listen to the board because it's going to cost them money every time a lawyer writes them a letter, which can be an assessment against the unit and subject them to the possibility of lien and foreclosure and additional attorney's fees on top of that. So sometimes that can be used in place of a finding committee that if you're having difficulty getting people involved to assist you in that respect.
Well, plus this is an assessment where a fine can't be.
Correct.
Okay, so there's already language in our bylaws that say that the offending owner would be responsible for any legal fees or repair costs to his unit taken over by the association to protect the other residents. That's already written into our bylaws.
The legal fees as an assessment?
Yeah. So, but again, that's something that can evolve over time. So, but there's really nothing that we can do immediately to stop.
I don't see it as an emergency situation. So no.
Generally speaking, no. I mean, we don't recommend you bar the door physically with individual board members. That's not a wise thing to do. Right. So short of that, you have to go through legal processes, and those are not typically immediate in their
Sheila,
results.
Unless Sheila, the violation that you speak of raises to the level of a significant and imminent life health safety issue, it's unlikely you're going to be able to go into court and get an emergency injunctive relief to preclude this owner from having any contract or any person on the unit. So that you are a rock and hard place right now based on the facts that you're presenting. It's possible that a review of your governing documents might expose some other options, but you're the immediate relief you're looking for really doesn't seem like it's available to you in the format that you're looking for.
Okay, so even calling the sheriff to throw them out, that's not going to work.
The sheriff likely won't come onto private property unless there's a crime being committed, and they'd have to witness it.
Yeah, they'll call it. If they even came at all, they'd consider it a civil matter, and they would tell you that you have to address it through the courts.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
Sheila.
That's what I thought. So I just have to eat my craw.
Not necessarily. You have options, but you just need to have patience and work through them, and ultimately you'll find that there's more compliance than what you're currently receiving through this process.
Yeah.
And if you don't have assistance for an attorney, there's a law firm called K. Bender Rimbaum that you might want
I'm familiar
to.
with that law firm. I'm calling the number from the email I got.
Thank you, Sheila.
And so, all right. Well,
thank you.
This is something that has been ongoing and recently, and that's why it's in the forefront of my mind.
Sure.
But,
where are you located?
Deerfield Beach.
Okay, well, we are going to be doing one of those programs in February 16th in the South County Civic Center. which I don't think is too far from you on Jog Road, so hopefully you can make it to the program. We also have a seminar on covenant enforcement, which we'll be offering out of our Pompano Beach office not far from you in March. So you have access.
I went to that one already.
Oh, great.
Did you have that one in recently in December?
We did.
Okay, and I
Great.
went to that one.
Good. I hope you learned a lot.
The only thing that was reinforced in my mind because of the structure of our community is that you have to apply the same approach to every offender, and you can't do it selectively.
That is correct.
And, well, but that's always been my approach. Everybody's treated the same way. Unfortunately, for our ownership, not everybody treats me the same way.
Well,
Thanks, Sheila, for
it's
calling.
a thankless job, but thank you. And if we can be of assistance, you know how to find us.
Let's go to break, and then when we come back, we've got Noel on the line.
Hang in there, Noel.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
And we are back. We have with us today, been with us for about a year and a half. We've got Michael and Robert here. Robert, and these guys, the law firm is called K. Bender Rembaum. We're on at our new time, 5 to 6 now on Thursdays. Listen, I feel sorry for Noel's been.
Yes,
hang
let's
on.
take
Let's go to
Noel's
Noel.
call.
Hi, Noel.
Hi there.
Thank you for holding.
No problem.
Did you get to finish dinner and put the kids to bed and everything while you're on hold?
Not yet, but
Say hello to Michael and Robert.
Hello, Noel.
Hello?
Are you there?
Hi. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my question is, I live in a small homeowner association of about 65 homes, and we don't have outside management, and the board runs the association. So our community is having an election soon, and we're kind of confused about how the process works. So there are 5 board seats, and 4 of the current board members are running for re-election, along with 3 other homeowners who are not currently on the board. So my question is, if the current board is running, can they run the election, or who else is supposed to oversee the process?
And you said you're an HOA, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there should be independent, we'll call them inspectors of election, a committee of individuals who are neither running for the board nor related to anyone running for the board would be recommended. And that's the approach that should be taken. The objective here, of course, is to have an election that obviously does not have any improprieties, but also doesn't even have the appearance of any improprieties. So the board, now it would be the board who would appoint the committee, but obviously the committee is going to be, these should be independent people who are willing to step up, volunteer, and their role is effectively to tally the ballots. Now, let's presume your HOA election is, with an HOA, unlike a condominium, HOAs typically don't have ballots that are mailed in. Is your HOA election run like a condominium, or do you attend the meeting and vote at the meeting?
We attend the meeting and we vote at the meeting.
Okay. And so how are these 7 people already candidates?
I got an announcement saying that these were the people that were running. We were informed of that already.
Like
Well, so there may be more at the meeting itself.
Right, because yeah, on the typical HOA, unless you're if you have a process in place in your documents which allows for nominations in advance, and your bylaws don't require nominations from the floor, you wouldn't need them. But otherwise, under Florida statutes, the Chapter 720, additional nominations may be taken from the floor. So there might actually be additional people who would run for the board at the date of the election. But as far as it's difficult for us to answer what's the proper process without obviously reviewing your documents and understanding what's been mailed out. But to your question, to reiterate on your question about how to ensure fairness, the board should be adopting an independent election committee and allowing them to conduct the election portion of the annual meeting.
Now, that does assume that there are volunteers willing to do that.
Right.
If there are not independent volunteers that are willing to do that, then the task does fall to the existing board, and it's not improper for the current board, even though they're running for re-election, to oversee the election process. It would be good to have somebody who's in attendance, not running, be the ones who's counting the ballots, so that nobody raises such a question, and no formal committee might necessarily be needed in that situation. But other than that, if there isn't enough people to participate, the board does have the legal authority to operate the election.
It shouldn't be done in a vacuum, of course. When the ballots are being tallied, it's not as if they should go in a locked room and do it.
Correct. Everyone can watch.
Everyone should be able to watch, and then and if there are any questions, to be able to review the materials that evening, the ballots, etc. Okay.
Does that answer your question?
And to the extent, if the association does have an attorney, the attorney the attorney should be invited to attend and oversee and ensure the election is run properly.
Okay. So then, just out of curiosity, how many would it just require one person for them if there was a volunteer?
Well, one is certainly sufficient, but it's good to have a few to make it go a little faster, depending on how many people are voting. For one person to do it all by themselves, it might be a little tedious and take longer, but if you have a group of people that are handling that part of it, it goes a lot faster.
Okay.
Thank you, Noelle.
Thank you.
Thanks. What makes a good board member? I mean, there's people out here right now listening to the show thinking, maybe I'd like to be a board member.
No one is thinking that.
No?
Plenty of people are thinking that.
Well, I got to tell you something. My friend in Dallas wanted to be on the board, but he had no idea what to expect.
I wanted to be on my board when I moved into my first community, which was in 1994. And I got on my board for about 5-6 years. And then I decided there were others who should get the chance.
Okay.
Well,
the opportunity that I had.
That lives in a community with a mandatory association should participate in the operation of the association at some point of their ownership.
In some capacity.
It doesn't happen with the vast majority of people, but everybody should. It's their association. It's their property that's involved. It's their likely largest investment that most people tend to make is in their homes. So certainly that's an important thing for them to be interested in. To be a good board member, one should be sufficiently interested, sufficiently willing to be involved in the process, to take the time to educate themselves as needed on the issues that are being dealt with, and to actually be available to attend meetings and vote and
actively participate,
and actually vote when there's something to be voted on.
Good.
We've seen situations where people are on the board and they abstain for no real reason other than they're not willing to make a decision one way or the other. And it's really the function of them as board members to make those decisions. Directors must direct, and the way they direct.
A lot of time involved in being a board member?
Well, it depends on the community. Some may have very little involved, and if you have outside management that's working, that can help to take away a lot of the burden of being a board member. And then sometimes the board member only needs to attend a board meeting periodically, once a month, every couple of months, every quarter, however it's done, and participate that way.
Okay, we got to go to break again because we kind of got behind. And we come back. I want to go over these dates again, what's going on in Sunrise and Hallandale, and give the dates and times. And I know you have a lot of other things coming up too. So we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size, and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
And we are back. This is the law firm K. Bender and Renbaum, and they are an HOA, a community association firm.
You like saying that HOA.
I do.
Just community association.
Condominiums, cooperatives,
Right.
they're in there too.
Hey, at least I'm not saying HOV. Like, I was actually talking about you on our other show, and I said HOV, and Renee's looking at me like, they don't do HOV.
Well, that's turning to express lanes anyway.
Yes, that's true.
That's true.
So what I love about what you guys do, though, is you give back a lot. You're always out there in the community educating, whether
It's what we're
board
here to do
members.
today.
But I mean,
Yeah.
you do. You get out there and listen. A lot of firms would never do this, and you get, because I know how busy. When you've got over 800 clients, that's a lot of work. And I see you've got a lot of employees whenever I come by the office. So let's go back now. We were talking about Sunrise, and we're talking about Hallandale.
Different programs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for those who might have missed the first half of the show, what we were talking about is Robert and I are currently in the mix of our 8th annual seminar series, which is basically the program is, we call it a town hall format. And it's a program where it's for everything you need to know to be an effective, efficient, successful association leader and or property manager. And basically, I think it's fair to say, like, we lead a discussion.
What are some of the topics you covered?
On different topics? Well, the topics vary from program to program because one of the things we put in place several years ago and with this type of program was we wanted the attendees to assist in creating the agenda. What we found was we were doing a lot of different programs and as we still do on specific topics. A topic on fair housing, a topic on collection foreclosure, a topic on enforcing your covenants, a topic on like unauthorized tenants, a topic on election issues. And so then people would come and attend these programs, and we'd give them and we would go through and we'd do a lot of lecturing, and then of course it'd be Q&A, and some of the questions would be related to the topic, but a lot of the questions we would always find would be what we'll call off topic. And of course we didn't want to say to someone, oh, that's off the topic, you'll have to ask us another time.
Save it for the end.
Or, so what we decided was, and I would say by request, we said, hey, how about a program that will allow us to come and discuss the issues that we want to discuss, not necessarily have a required program. And we
so
said
they drive that
right.
bus.
Yeah, so we decided that would work well.
And the questions actually vary from.
They're never the same.
They're and some of the times the questions can get very specific. And what happens, of course, with that is if the questions are like, for instance, the last caller, Noelle, what I indicated, she had a question about elections. To answer some of that question, we would actually need to be able to review her governing documents. Obviously, that's not something we're doing at these programs. But what we can do when the question comes in very specific, we try to take it back a little bit in a general approach and at least address the topic. Like for Noelle's question, we would then have a discussion on election issues. And that, again, of course, presumes those in attendance, or at least a number of those in attendance, want to discuss election issues.
And they typically do.
And of course they do. But if they don't, and we try to get an exhaustive discussion on a topic without getting too much time into it. For instance, fair housing. We can talk about fair housing for the entire 2 hours. So we'll try to take, if that question comes up, and it often does, we'll try to take a set time to address as many questions as possible. And then, of course, we invite them to come to our fair housing class and get more information. But the attendees are setting the agenda, and they love that because they come there with questions in mind, topics in mind. And what I also find is because of the different, we've had, like you mentioned, there were 40 to 50 at the one you did, and we've had anywhere from 25 to 150. Right, we've anywhere from 25 to 150 people attend these programs, and we do address every possible question. We try to stay as long as possible and address all the questions. And we have attendees who'll come, and they may come just because they don't really know what they don't know.
Right.
And so they'll sit and listen. Someone will ask a question, and I've had this happen. People have come up after and said, I came because I wanted just to see what it was about, and questions were being asked, and it kind of struck a chord with me, and it reminded me of another issue that we were having, and I thank you for answering that. And it was, I think it was an issue. They had a flood in the building, and they want to know how certain things could be addressed with that. Construction-related issues, whatever they may be. And so it works well. And we have 4 coming up, 2 in January, 2 in February. Information's all on the kbrlegal.com website. The 2 in January, we can talk about February next month, but the 2 in January are Thursday, January 21st at 10 a.m. in Sunrise at the Nob Hill Clubhouse on Sunset Strip. It's 10200 Sunset Strip. And on the following Tuesday, January 26th, evening at 6:30 at the Hallandale Cultural Community Center in Hallandale Beach on Southeast 3rd Street. So they do some in the mornings, some in the evenings, and hopefully everybody who wants to come is able to attend. And they are always free. All of our programs.
Do they have to RSVP?
Thank you, yes. It is helpful that we have you RSVP, and especially for these town hall programs, because not only do we want you to know who's coming and bring as many of your board members, and if you know board members next door who might be desirous, your manager or other managers, bring everyone in. It's free for everyone to attend, but we like to know numbers to ensure we have proper seating and enough seating, and also we do offer light snacks, so it's always good to know that we have enough food and drink for everyone who attends as well. So the RSVP and questions and topics can go to KBR Legal Seminar at pearsongrant.com. That's PIERSONGRANT.com. Or call 954-776-1999. And that's at extension 242. And all of those, for those who are in the car, don't have a pen, all that information, again, is at kbrlegal.com. Or call our 800 number, 974-0680. Let the caller know you're interested in attending a program, and they'll direct you to the right person so that we can get you registered for it.
You can Google K. Bender-Rembaum, and that'll take you to it. Also, we will have a show before the February 9th one, but it's close to that date. There is one on February the 9th at the Art Serve in Fort Lauderdale at 1350 East Sunrise Boulevard.
That's an
at
evening
6:30 p.m. So we'll talk about that again next month.
Then you have something coming up on the 16th of February.
Also, yes.
Well, then we have classes out of our Pompano office and our Palm Beach Gardens office. Pompano office is it's 95 in Copans. It's accessible from the Turnpike N95. Palm Beach Gardens is on North Military Trail, also easily accessible from main highways. Again, they can reach either office to register for a class at 800-974-0680. We are doing Homeowner Association board member certification in Pompano next Tuesday, the 12th, in the evening at 6:30. And on the 19th, we're having a new class, Operations and Insurance for Condominium and HOAs, which I'm proud to be co-presenting that with Barry Scar of Scar Insurance, a very well-respected and reputable community association insurance firm in the state of Florida. And Barry and I are going to be presenting a 2-hour class on operations and insurance issues for condos and HOAs, and that will be in our Pompano office at 1200 Park Central Boulevard South on Tuesday, January 19th at 6:30. The Palm Beach Gardens office will be holding the HOA board cert class the day after the Pompano office. So we'll do it on the 12th of January. Palm Beach Gardens will be on the 13th of January, the Wednesday, also in the evening at 6 o'clock. And then on the 20th, the following Wednesday, Palm Beach Gardens will do the condominium board cert class. And so, again, calling 800-974-0680 could register for either. There's also on the website direct numbers and emails for both Pompano Beach and Palm Beach Gardens to RSVP directly.
Is there a major difference between association and homeowner?
What do you mean?
Like, okay.
I'm stumped.
Okay.
No, we're not stumped.
No.
I'm stumped as to what he's asking.
I'm trying to find out what the difference is between condominium and homeowners association.
Oh, well, you asked what was the difference between association and homeowner.
I got association.
He's getting the words mixed up.
And
but
by the way, I just
there's
want to
different
tell you-
statutes that apply to these types of communities. The condominiums were created by statute in the mid-1960s, and that statute has evolved. It was originally in Chapter 711, and then now it's 718 of Florida statutes. The Homeowner Association did not have a statute for it until 1995, and that has evolved from being part of the not-for-profit corporate statute to become its own statute in Chapter 720, and every year they make changes to all of these. There has been efforts to try and make them more similar because there are differences between them, but the legislature does what the legislature does, of course.
Well, yeah, and there's actually, I learned recently, and I guess it's too late now, I've admitted this, that Florida is the only state in the country, and if the information given to me was correct, if not, then I blame the information I was given, the only state in the country that does have different statutes for condominium associations, 718, HOAs, 720, and cooperatives, 719. All other states have community association interests, and they're combined as one. And there has been a proposal this year, and Florida legislators are in session now. This year they're January to March as opposed to March to May. And so they're in session now, and there has been a bill that has been proposed in one of the houses, I believe it's the House of Representatives, to eliminate 719 and 720 and combine all three into a community association interest statute under 718. There is not currently, there's no Senate companion yet, to my knowledge, so it's not moving anywhere. And I think, as Robert had intimated, and my opinion at this point, without seeing the more detail, and it's over it's almost 400, 500 pages, and I will admit I have not read through it yet until it has a companion. But there are too many differences between the three to have one encompassing statute. Now, I suppose there's a way of creating the statute where certain things are similar, and then you break it out. But there are definitely differences between the condominium and the HOA.
I'm going to play suck up for just a second.
What are you going to do?
We want to welcome Lisa McGill.
Yes, as
is
do
a
we.
new lawyer to your firm.
Thank you.
She just started?
Last week.
Okay. So we have another caller. Let's go to Mavis. Hi, Mavis.
Hi, am I on?
You are on. Say hello to Robert and
Okay.
Michael.
Thank you. Okay, hi. I'm calling about reserve fund money. Here's the thing. I'm the director of our HOA, and our finances are in really good condition. Our budget's really solid, and we've created a reserve fund. Okay, and we're adhering to a reserve study. Okay? So far, so good. So I guess you could say I'm calling because we're having some difficulties defining the purpose and permissible uses. We don't know if we have any discretion for the fund's use or if the reserve study's got us in a straitjacket. What we want to do is we want to pay for street lighting. We want to use the reserve fund to pay for street lighting. Can we do that, or can we only use it for the assets that are defined in the study?
Well, first off, in HOAs...
Many issues there.
HOAs are different than condominiums when it comes to reserves. There was a later statute, which is not so new anymore, but maybe 5-6 years old at this point, that addressed reserves for homeowners association by requiring a unit owner vote or a developer designation of reserves to make them protected from their use to designated topics, which means, let's say you created a reserve for your road repaving by a vote of the homeowners in your community. You could only use those funds for that purpose unless the owners voted to use it for something else. But what you've described doesn't fall within that category unless you have created your reserves in the manner the statute contemplates by an initial vote by the homeowners or was created by the developer of your community. If your board decided one day to have reserves set aside for certain things, what you have created amounts to just a contingency fund which can be used for any bona fide purpose of your association at the discretion of the board. While you may call it for one purpose in your budget, the board may use it for a different purpose if the need arises, so long as it falls within the scope of what the association is required to maintain, repair, and replace under your governing documents.
And so that actually addresses both questions, because if the street lighting is something that the association is otherwise responsible for, then the fact that it's not in this reserve study that you mentioned isn't going to preclude the board from using funds that were in that quote-unquote reserve account for the street lighting if those reserves were not, as Robert just stated, created by the developer or voted in by the membership. If they're simply board-created, quote, reserves, then they're better named something other than reserves.
Right. The membership only needs to vote one time to create reserve items for your operation, and then it becomes very similar to the way condominiums have been for years, where they're designated for a specific use, and the owners can waive them each year if the board decides, or reduce them if the board decides to present that as an option. But if there has not been such a creation, then it's in essence just a discretionary fund for the board.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thanks for your call.
Thanks for calling. Pretty good questions today.
Very
huh?
good questions.
Wow. So we got to go to break.
I was just going to say.
I thought that
we'll
was
get
before
back
maybe.
to this right after the break.
Ooh, I like the way you do
It's
that.
my Ryan Seacrest for you.
Bender out.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size, and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
Let's bring her home.
And we're back.
What?
I want you to give everybody your website address because we're live on TV right there now.
kbrlegal.com.
Your hat doesn't even fit you anymore, does it?
Well, now it's a year and a half. I figured I'd look at the screen for the
And
first
give
time.
everybody your phone number again, too.
The main number to reach either our Palm Beach Gardens or Pompano Beach offices is 800 974 0680. I need
or
to write
you
that.
can call Pompano directly at 954-928-0680.
Or Palm Beach Gardens at 561-241-4462.
You know, we haven't discussed pets at all. I can't believe we can't go through one show without discussing pets. When we were at the meeting,
Only if Renee's here and talks about her dad's pets.
The town hall meeting, there was probably like 3 or 4 people who had questions about pets.
More than that, yeah.
But
Well,
it's
that,
like,
that issue has been
do you ever get
fashionable
bored with
of late.
that?
Never.
Because it's,
I don't.
It's like one of the.
I don't get bored with it because it is. It's a frustrating topic, and so but it comes up constantly, and unfortunately, it is a challenging concept for many board members and owners to grasp when they've bought in a no pet community and suddenly there are all these dogs running around.
But we had an interesting question on that just yesterday, where an
Do
association has multiple elevators and wants to designate one of the elevators as a no animal elevator, and the other two would be available to those that have the animals, so that individuals who either have allergies to the animals or a fear of them will have an ability to use the premises in a similar fashion in the protected way as those who are getting the special permission to bring the animals into an otherwise no pet building.
Right.
And that is
That could
something
be a lot of walking for
that
somebody.
is something that under the right circumstances can be done.
Perhaps. And see, and that's actually it was an excellent, because it actually has come up, but it is fact specific, and so for those who are listening, for the millions of you listening, you understand that it is a fact specific situation. If you, in this case, there are 3 elevators in this high rise. Which are
Must be pretty big.
Which are situated at least 2 of them are literally situated across from each other, and so to request that owners with animals use one over the other, and not use this elevator to keep it free of dander, and also for people who are afraid. The test would be: is it reasonable? And what you and I and many would think is reasonable is not necessarily what HUD, who oversees these fair housing laws, would agree. And so in this scenario, so long as it's addressed appropriately, it seems as if it would be a reasonable approach to addressing concerns of the other residents. But ultimately, if a resident complained about it, it's something that we would be... see, that's where you talk about... I would love to get on the phone with the representatives of HUD or the local housing authorities and try to move them in a certain direction, or at least get clarification so that these issues can be properly addressed. It's not simple.
And you do that from time to time.
I do that from time to time, but fair housing laws are federal, obviously, federal legislators. Even though our state legislation on fair housing essentially mirrors this federal law, changes to be made have to be made at the federal level, which is obviously a difficult thing. We are part of Community Associations Institute, CAI, which is a national organization. It's very active in Florida. There are 8 chapters, and I just actually was reelected back to the board of our South Florida chapter, and I also serve as one of the Florida Legislative Action Committee representatives, and so we get to work with Tallahassee on trying to put together good legislation and preclude poor legislation. Hopefully, though, in working with CAI on a more national level as well, we can try to convince DC to work on modifying these HUD regulations to avoid a lot of the abuses that we see with quote-unquote assistance animals, comfort support animals, and also to clarify better in a situation like that the rights of those owners who did buy in no pet buildings. But at this point, even though this scenario, as we played out, I think they can maybe do this, we do remind everyone that when you have fair housing laws, they have been adopted to protect the few at the expense of the many, and this is just the way the laws are now. And for the most part, those are good laws. There's a reason why they are.
Right.
It's just when they're abused, that's what's
And
frustrating.
It falls under the heading of discrimination, and when a complaint of that nature is made, you find yourself almost guilty till proven innocent, which is not our normal way of
I
thinking.
see why it's frustrating, though.
It is. Well, and that's the reason why, like the example Robert gave, we have to, inform the client, listen, we believe that it's our opinion that if, based on certain specific facts, this is reasonable.
And those at a local level have concurred.
Right, exactly. But the local level still reports to the federal level, and the federal level, in my experience, has been a lot more conservative with regulations. So they have to understand there is a potential risk involved, and are they willing to take that risk?
Well, we've got a minute. My favorite question at the end is, why should I hire your firm?
Is it your turn to take it or mine?
I think it's yours.
Sure. Well, for those who are listening and who are on your boards or your property managers, K. Bender Rembaum, what we bring to the table for your communities is, as you've hopefully learned today, the ability to provide solid, strong guidance in the avenue of community association. We bring you the experience and also the customer service. We are accessible. We are responsive. You call our office, you don't get machines. You're going to press buttons to find people. You're always going to have us available to you. And we're happy to come out and meet with boards at no charge to discuss who we are, what we do, and how we can help your community.
Give them your phone number.
800-974-0680. K. Bender Rembaum Community Association lawyers.
And we'll
Mike
be right
Bender,
back
Robert
here
K. and Jeff Rembaum and
right
team.
back here first Thursday next month.
First Thursday, 5 to 6 every month. We'll see you again. I'll see you next week with more Ask the Experts. Love when you guys come on.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show with Steve O and Rene. Tune in every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. while some of the top local experts in their field from Broward and Palm Beach counties educate you in the areas of law, health, financial, and home improvement. You can also call our offices at 888-574-6999 to become an expert on our show. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsor